Hello guys, today we'll be going over my bleach deck for 1000 Years Blood War for Union Arena. The action points I use are the ones you could have gotten at Bandai Card Fest. I was only able to get 2 at the event, then I misplaced them, and then I just ordered the 3 when the prices started to drop on them. They're fairly affordable now. The way I built this deck was I just built it to my playstyle with a little bit of help from Decklist Online. So we'll get started with the 0 drops. I run 3 Udayus. He's good for turn 1 draws, even if you're going first and don't get that draw. And the trashing a card in this deck actually benefits you in the long game, because when we get to, I'll show you the Ichigo that does that. Then we have the 0 drop Ichigos. They have no effects, but you need raid targets, and that's what these ones are for the later on in the Ichigos. We run 4 Renji, 0 drop Renjis. I do have raid Renjis in here, so he helps with that. And even in later games, if you don't need them, you can use them as discard into your sideline for the Ichigo and Renji effects down the line that need cards in sideline to be removed. And then for our 1 drops, I have 2 of the 1 drop color trigger Ichigo Kurosakis. I like this one because it's when played, you get to look at the top card of your deck. And if you want it to, you can sideline it. If not, you keep it on top. So you can just get rid of cards that would be dead in your hand on that turn, which I have done that often. Then we have 2 of the Tenjuru 1 drops. I like this because even in for late, I only run the 2 because I've tried it with 4, tried it with 3. The 2 seems to be better because I can play them early game in my energy line, and then down into the game when they get rid of my Ichigos that I need, I can just sideline him with his effect to get back those Ichigos. And we run 4 of the double energy Orahimes. Again, on play when you play her, she bounces a 1 something, bounces another character to hand, so I tend to use it on the Udayus or the color Ichigo, because then I can just use their effects again, and she is a double energy. I only run 1 non 4 drop in this deck, high level 4 drop. I'll show you when I get to that. We have Kutsuki Uruhara. Again, he's a double energy output when he's active. So this is a good turn 2, possibly turn 3 play. Ideally, you want him out on turn 2 if you have him. I only run the 2 because, again, I tried this with 4 and 3 cards, but 2 seemed to be my sweet spot for him. In the 3 drop Ichigo Kurosakis that on attack, they get 3. They become 4,000s. I only run the 3 of them because of that 4,000 only on attack, and I ran enough Ichigos to make it to where I don't need to have the 4th. If anything, they ended up turning into raid targets because everyone clears out my lower drop Ichigos in the game. Then I run 3 of the 3 drop Rukia Kuchiki. This one is on when attack, you draw a card and then trash a card, again to fuel the sideline for late game card effects. And of course the 3 Bankais, just to reactivate action points, and if it's in your life, it's that final trigger to keep you in the game if they hit it in the last life. I have gone against someone where they got double final triggers, hit them once, hit their final, and then hit them again, and the top card was a final, so they ended up just staying in the game. Then I have 3 drop Bukita Kuchiki. This is when played, he minus something by 1,000, I believe. No, 500 BP. Again, I don't really have the Kuchiki build in here. It's a good card, it's just I don't ever see them seem to have what I need to use his ability that effectively. And these are winner cards you get for participating for in certain events. We are currently in event season for 2025, event pack 1 in April. We will be getting event pack 2 for 2025, so the winter cards do change as sets come out. Again, he is also a color trigger, so your deck can only have 4 color triggers, and so I opted to mix it up with 2 of them being the Ichigo, 2 of them being him. And then I run 3 of the 3-drop Renjis that have, I can place the top card of my deck into my sideline, and another target character gets 500 BP, which is, I use him to again fuel the late game and just to pump something that's smaller to that more deadly point. What I've done before, I've had 2 out and I just pump each other because it does just state other, it doesn't say other than Renji. And then I run 4 of the raid Ichigo Kurosaki that has, if he's been raided, he has the ability, I can put 4 cards from my sideline into my removal, and if I do, I give him impact and I draw a card. So that's what all the late game is for. I give him impact, which even if they block, if it's not bigger than him, they're gonna hit. And then sometimes I just pump them with the Renji to make them a little more harder to block with their 4Ks. Of course, 4 Getsugas because it's the special for this deck. Just if you don't have Ichigo, you hit something that's 3,000. But if you do have an Ichigo Kurosaki, it's 5,000, which is most cards in the game. And then I run 4 of the Renji raids, which has on raid. You may place 4 cards from your sideline into your move. If you do, a character on your opponent's front line loses 3,000 BP, so you can use him as removal. But the benefit of him is even if you don't raid him, you can pay 1 AP and it gives him damage too. Which late game, if you keep removing their guys, forcing them to block, he starts getting in for those 2 damages. So these are the only 5 drops that I have that I decided to use. And again, they're Renjis with removal, so it's a little for late game. I'm thinking of upping it to 4 because on play you get to you can just give something minus 3,000 on their front line. So that is the Hunter. This is my Bleach deck. Like I said, I do have my Demon Slayer deck. I'll be going over after the rare battles, so I can just tell you how good my deck did, how bad it did. And again, I had someone in the comment section on my last video ask how much does it cost to get into this game. I did respond to them in case they didn't see that response, or just so everyone can know. My LGS tends to price boxes pretty good, other places not so much. I pay anywhere between after taxes $69 to $78 per box. They currently don't hold singles. I don't know. I asked and I get different answers every time. But our community tends to be very good about helping each other out. My buddy who I talked about in my first video, who helped me out get my my beta kit for Gundam. He actually is. I'm actually giving him all my red stuff, including rares, maybe even some SRs if he needs them. Our community tends to try to help each other out, which is pretty good. But other than that, rare LGSs might charge different prices. They are available at Targets, but some of the older sets are harder to find at Targets and Walmarts. The most expensive deck card in this deck, I believe, it might be the Alt Art Ichigo, or it might be this super pre-release Ichigo. My Hunter deck most expensive card is Karapika at $10 per card. If you do want to get into the game, you can always just pick up a starter deck and go from there, play games. My LGS tends to do it where everyone, even if you lose every game, you walk away with at least a pack, which is pretty good. So there's still that chance of just getting what you need. And we get to pick what set we want our packs from, so because everyone's just playing different decks. But lately what we've been doing is there's a new player and they need certain cards from a certain set, we will just all pick that set. Unless it's the newest set, like if it's a release event for the newest event and we're all trying to get cards for that, we'll just pick that and then go from there. But that's my Bleach deck. I might do a video on my UG deck next time, which most likely be tomorrow, or my one of my Code Geass decks, which is the pizza deck. So until then, see you guys in the future.